Well, for some reason my other video got stopped, so we're gonna make part 2. So I got this Suburban running, and 52 PSI. That's running. Nice thing is I can snap throttle it. You can see that pressure is definitely coming up. So 52 PSI running. That's under spec for the CSI. 60 to 66 is what we're looking for. This is our current ramp, guys, on this pump running. I got her on a 20 amp probe, low amp 20. We're tied in at the underhood fuse box. And I'm on a 5 amp scale with AC coupled mode, 2 millisecond screen, and there's our ripple. Let's go ahead and stop this, zoom out. Bring this in. That is a bad fuel pump, no doubt about it. Now, the reason I know that is because of the way this ramp looks. It's very, you can see dropouts in here. So let's do an amperage check. I'm gonna take it out of AC coupled mode. Actually, before we do that, let's just screenshot this quick. Back to record. I'll bring this back up to a 20 amp. Take it at AC couple mode. So now we're just measuring amperage. Let's see, what are we getting? Yeah, right around 8 amps, which is good. Not worried about powers and grounds. I'm going to do an RPM measurement real quick. Alright, she's been sitting here primed for probably 5 to 6 minutes, and we're holding steady at 60 PSI, which is spec. I think it was 60 to 66 PSI is spec. So I'm not dealing with a bleed down issue, guys. This is a bad pump, no doubt about it, but just to rule out any variables, let's run it and get it to, I'm going to get it to a normal operating. Well, actually, you know what, I'm going to relieve the fuel pressure. I want to do a sample quick on this fuel. I'm suspecting that there's contamination in the fuel tank. So alright, just to show you, this pump doesn't even have the ability to feed my container to get my sample. Obviously we're under spec, guys, so observe. You can hear the engine just, I'm barely taking any fuel away. And actually, if I hold it, she'll stall right out. That's my fuel sample. This fuel smells like varnish. Disgusting. So I'm just gonna check the water and ethanol content. That, guys, doesn't lie. That is a bad fuel pump, no doubt about it. Am I worried about the fuel pressure regulator? Because the fuel pressure regulator, remember, lives under the intake, okay? I am not worried about it, but just to be 100% that thing is not leaking, because they like to leak, I am going to check fuel trims, bank to bank, because I know if that regulator is in fact leaking, usually they'll run rich on that passenger side bank, which would be bank 1 rather. Bank 2, I'm sorry. Yeah, I believe that's bank 2. I'll confirm that, but I remember they'll run rich on that side if it's leaking under the intake. Now, the fact that this thing sits overnight, or sits for, you know, an extended period of time, and then I have a long crank time, tells me I have a weak fuel pump, okay? Again, that amperage current ramp doesn't lie. Clearly we have bad segments in the pump. What am I trying to say? Supposedly this fuel pump has been replaced at another shop a while back, as well as the fuel filter, with a GM AC Delco pump. That's what we were told. We will find out, but I don't think the tank was cleaned out, and like I said, I believe that there's contamination in the tank. So I'll do a few more checks just to rule out that regulator, but I'm not sold that it's a fuel pressure regulator problem, guys. I'm confident in my call on the fuel pump. So yeah, let me finish up this fuel sample test. Again, we do not have a leak down problem, so I'm not suspecting a bad check valve in the pump. I'm not suspecting a bad regulator. RPM measurement. There's quite a few bad segments here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Close enough. What is that? Delta of 4.14 milliseconds. Let's do the math on that. So we need to take 60,000 divided by 4.14. There you have it, guys. Pump spinning at about 14,500 rotations per minute, give or take. That pump's moving awfully fast to keep up. So, again, got my fuel sample. Oh, let's see, what are we running here? Yeah, it's ghetto, I know, but it works. Looks like we've got... I do not like this fuel color at all. She's just over the 10% mark, so the fuel looks horrible. So I've got the fuel trims up. You can see we're running lean on both banks on the long term. Okay. And we'll just let it run for a little bit here. Not extremely lean by any means, but definitely lean. Let's take a look if we bring the RPMs up, see what she does. Alright, short terms are on the bottom, long term is on the top. Just for grins and giggles, we're going to bring the RPM up and take a look at the ramp, current ramp. Zoom that out. We're done. This thing needs a fuel pump. No, obviously we're gonna do a fuel filter with it, but let's just take a peek. At least she's not all rusted out. What I want to do here is I just want to make sure that we can actually do this without breaking stuff. So it'll get a fuel filter too if we're doing a pump. Again, I'm not worried about powers and grounds to this pump. It's pulling over 8 amps, which is more than enough. So powers and grounds are not an issue. I believe there's crud in the tank, and that's probably what destroyed his quote-unquote OEM fuel pump, or he put a crap fuel pump in it. I have no idea, or whoever did, not necessarily the customer. This needs a Delco pump. Needs an authentic GM, made in Mexico pump. There's no doubt about it. What I'm doing right now is I'm just going to look at this tank and make sure everything looks good to drop it before I recommend the job. Kind of, cover all our bases. Yeah. Running current ramp. There's so many dropouts in the segments, guys. I had to count what I could count. 2.8 milliseconds on our delta. Oh yeah, she is struggling to keep up. 21,428. Well, guys, I'd like to continue on, but I got to get the rest of this truck inspected. He wanted the front end and stuff looked at or whatever, but I'd like to keep going. I know this video or these 2 videos are kind of all over the map, but it is what it is, and this is the best I can do to get content. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. I'll do follow-ups when I get parts. I'll do the best I can to put everything together. It might be a string of videos, but it is what it is. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you learned something. I know I did. Leave some comments down below if you have any suggestions or anything that I might have missed. I don't know. I had to cut a lot out just because of time, but I got to get back in there. I got to inspect the rest of this truck, and hopefully I get the parts for the Ford today. Getting parts right now with everything that's going on has been kind of tough, so it is what it is. So take care, guys. Stay safe.